Welcome to the Karma Verdict. Let us get started with today's story. My fiancée told me I had to accept that she was still seeing her ex. Then she went to his place and texted me not to start drama when she got home, so I did not. I packed everything I owned, left my key on the counter, and let her come home to the quietest answer I had ever given her. By 36, I had gotten pretty good at telling the difference between trust and being made into a fool. I am Corbin, and I had been engaged to Alyssa long enough that our friends stopped asking when the wedding was, and started asking why we had not already done it. We had been together for years. We shared a lease, a couch we argued about for 2 weeks before buying, a dining table that wobbled unless you pushed a folded receipt under one leg, and a Sunday routine where I made pancakes while she stood in the kitchen doorway telling me, I always burned the first one. I did burn the first one. Every time. That was the life I thought we were building. Not perfect, not dramatic, just steady. We had bills on autopay, a wedding binder in the hall closet, streaming accounts with both our profiles, and friends who treated us like a permanent unit. When people said Corbin and Alyssa, it sounded like one word. Then Nate came back into the picture, and somehow I became the bad guy for noticing he never really left. Nate was Alyssa's ex from before me. I knew about him. I had never been the kind of guy who pretended my fiancée had been sealed in plastic before I met her. People have histories. People have old relationships, old photos, old songs that still make them pause for a second. I understood that. So when Alyssa mentioned Nate had reached out, I did not panic. We were eating takeout on the couch, and she said it casually, like she was talking about running into a former coworker. Nate messaged me today. She said, I looked over from the television. Nate, your ex? She rolled her eyes, but lightly. Yes, Nate, my ex. He saw something I posted and said hi. He's been going through a rough time. That sucks, I said. She watched me for a second, like she expected more. I asked, are you planning to talk to him? Maybe coffee. She said, just to catch up. I put my carton of noodles down. I am not telling you who you can talk to. I am asking where the line is. She smiled like I had said something childish. The line is trust. At the time, that sounded mature enough that I let it sit there. Trust. Sure. I trusted her. I trusted us. The coffee happened on a Saturday afternoon. She came home with a paper cup still in her hand and told me Nate looked older, had a bad haircut, and was still impossible to have a serious conversation with. I laughed. She laughed. Nothing about it felt dangerous. But coffee turned into calls. At first, Nate called in the early evening. Then later. Then Alyssa started stepping out onto the patio to answer. She would come back and smiling at her phone. And when I asked what was funny, she would say, nothing. Just Nate being Nate. Her phone started going face down on the table. Not hidden exactly, but positioned. The kind of small movement you notice after living with someone long enough to know how they normally toss their keys, where they leave their shoes, and which side of the couch they claim without thinking. One night, I walked into the kitchen around 11 o'clock and found her leaning against the counter in the dark, whisper laughing. When she saw me, she straightened up. I did not know you were still awake, she said. Could say the same, she sighed. It is just Nate. That sentence is starting to do a lot of work. Her face changed. Do not do that. Do what? Make it weird. I wanted to say, I am not the one whispering to an ex in the dark. Instead, I took a breath. I am acting like my fiancé is hiding conversations from me. She laughed once, sharp and humorless. You act like I am cheating because I answered a phone call. No, I said. I act like something feels off. Because something feels off. That was the first real argument. It did not explode. We did not scream. I did not grab her phone or demand passwords or threaten to leave. I sat at the kitchen table and tried to talk like a grown man in a grown relationship. I am not asking you to erase your past, I told her. I am asking you not to invite it into our relationship every week. She crossed her arms. You sound insecure. That is easy to say when you do not want to answer the question. The answer is that he is my friend. He is your ex. He was my ex. Now he is my friend. Then why does it feel like I am not allowed to have an opinion about it? Because your opinion is controlling. There it was. The word that made any response feel like proof of the accusation. If I pushed back, I was controlling. If I asked questions, I was insecure. If I got quiet, I was sulking. So I backed off. Partly because I did not want to be that guy, and partly because I still believed Alyssa cared about how this affected me. Then she started making it public. We had a group chat with a handful of friends, Travis, Maya, Kelly, a couple others, and us. It was mostly memes, dinner plans, photos of bad parking jobs, and arguments about where to order wings from. One Thursday, while I was at the grocery store, my phone buzzed. Alyssa had written, "Corbin is being weird because Nate called me 2 times this week. Someone tell him adults can have friends." Maya replied with a laughing emoji. Someone else wrote, "Ah." I stared at the screen next to a display of cereal boxes, feeling my face get hot. Before I could respond, Travis texted me privately, "Brother, why is she making you the punchline?" I typed 3 different answers and deleted all of them. At home, I asked Alyssa why she put that in the group chat. She shrugged from the bathroom mirror while taking off her earrings. "Because you were being weird. That was private. It is not that serious. It is to me." She turned around. "You are too old to be acting this insecure." That line stayed with me longer than I wanted it to. The next week, we went to dinner with the group. It was nothing fancy, just one of those loud places where the tables are too close together and everyone talks over each other. Alyssa sat across from me wearing the sweater I liked, laughing too loudly at her own stories. For the first hour, everything felt normal. Then Nate's name came up because Alyssa brought him up. "He said the funniest thing today." She started. Travis glanced at me. Maya suddenly became interested in her drink. Alyssa noticed. "What?" she said, smiling. "Are we all pretending Nate is Voldemort now because Corbin gets uncomfortable?" There were a few awkward laughs. I said quietly, "Alyssa," she ignored the warning in my tone. "Real relationships require trust," she said, looking around the table like she was giving advice. "Corbin just has to get used to Nate being part of my life." One of the guys, trying to break the tension, said, "So Corbin can grab dinner with an ex too, right?" Alyssa laughed immediately. "That is different." "How?" Travis asked. She waved a hand. "He does not have history like we do." The table went quiet in that special way adults go quiet when someone has said something ugly. But everyone is too polite or too cowardly to touch it. I looked at Alyssa. She looked back like she had won some. On the drive home, I kept both hands on the wheel and said, "You embarrassed me tonight?" She leaned her head against the passenger window. "No. You embarrassed yourself by being tense. You told our friends I need to accept your ex as part of our life. He is part of my life. Then what am I?" She turned toward me. "Do not be dramatic. I am asking you a direct question." She gave this exhausted sigh, like she was tired of teaching a child something obvious. "I am still seeing him. You can either accept it or keep acting like a jealous little boy." Something in me went still. "So, that is the choice?" I asked. "That is the reality," she said. I nodded once and drove the rest of the way home without another word. That night, she slept like she had finally put me in my place. I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling fan, realizing the problem was no longer Nate. The problem was that Alyssa believed I would rather swallow disrespect than risk looking dramatic. She thought calm meant permanent. The next morning, I started documenting, not in some wild, paranoid way. I did not hack anything. I did not put trackers on her car. I did not go through private accounts. I used what I already had legitimate access to because it was our life too. I saved screenshots of her messages to me. I took photos of receipts for furniture and electronics I had bought before we moved in together. I checked which bills were in my name, which were joint, and which were attached to my card. I looked through our lease and realized we had a clause about removing one tenant with written agreement and a responsibility split until the end of the term. I emailed our property manager, Mr. Hamley, and kept it simple. I wrote that I was considering moving out due to a personal separation and wanted to understand the proper steps without violating the lease. He called the next afternoon. "Keep everything in writing," he said. "Take pictures before you leave. If you are returning a key, document it. If both names are on the lease, you are still responsible until we process changes or the lease ends." His voice was calm, practical, almost boring. I needed boring. Boring meant I was not just reacting. Boring meant I was building an exit, not a tantrum. When I told Travis, he did not sound surprised. "You are not planning a fight," he said. "No, you are planning an exit." "Exactly." "Good," he said, "because she has been daring you to stay." I did not want him to be right, but he was. Over the next 2 weeks, Alyssa got bolder because I got quieter. She mistook my silence for surrender. One evening, she came home wearing perfume she usually saved for nights out. She said she had been with Kelly and Maya. The thing was, Maya had posted a photo from her couch 2 hours earlier wearing pajamas with a caption about canceling plans and eating leftovers. Our doorbell camera showed Alyssa leaving at 7:12, dressed up, getting into a rideshare. She had texted me at 8:30 saying, "Girls' night running late." It was not one smoking gun. It was 10 little matches she kept dropping and asking me not to smell smoke. Another night, Nate called while we were brushing our teeth. Alyssa looked at the screen, turned it over, then said, "I am going to take this outside." I rinsed my toothbrush at midnight. He is having a hard time. He seems to have a lot of those. She gave me a look. "This is why I do not tell you things." "No," I said. "You do not tell me things because then you would have to admit what they are." She walked out anyway. I stood in the bathroom with toothpaste still in my mouth, listening to the patio door slide shut. By then, I had already separated what I could. I moved my direct deposit to an account only I used. I changed autopay for my phone, my insurance, and my own subscriptions. I removed my card from the shared grocery delivery app. I packed my passport, birth certificate, tax documents, a watch from my dad, and a few things I could not replace into a small box I kept at Travis's place. I did not touch her things. I did not touch shared items unless I could prove I had paid for them. The couch stayed. The dining table stayed. The television stand stayed because we split it. The desk in the spare room was mine. The bedroom dresser was mine from before we lived together. My tools, my books, my game console, my clothes, my kitchen knives, my coffee maker, my framed photos from before her. Those were mine. Alyssa noticed the distance, but not the preparation. One night, she leaned against the kitchen counter while I washed a pan and said, "See, this is better." "What is?" "You are finally learning not everything is about you." I turned off the water and looked at her. Maybe the old me would have argued. Maybe he would have said, "It actually is about me when it is our relationship." Maybe he would have tried one more time to make her understand. Instead, I dried my hands and said, "Maybe." She smiled like she had trained me. The next major crack came from Kelly. Kelly was Alyssa's close friend, not mine. We were friendly because of Alyssa, but she was not someone I expected to choose my side. That is why her message surprised me. It came on a Tuesday morning. "Hey, I do not want to be in the middle," she wrote, "but Alyssa is telling people you are getting controlling, and that I saw it." I did not see that. I do not want my name used for something I did not back up. I sat in my car in the parking lot outside a hardware store, staring at the message. I wrote back, "What exactly is she saying?" Kelly took a while to answer. "She said you were monitoring her and trying to isolate her from Nate. She made it sound like you were unstable." My hands went cold. I replied, "I have not monitored her. I asked for basic boundaries around her ex." Kelly sent back, "I know. That is why I am saying something." Then, after another minute, she sent screenshots. I opened the first one and felt like the air had been sucked out of the car. Alyssa had written to Kelly, "Corbin is the safe one. He is steady. He will get over it because he hates drama." Another message said, "Nate still knows me better than anyone. It is hard to explain. I am not leaving Corbin. Obviously. Corbin is the kind of man you build a life with. Not leaving me, obviously. Like I was furniture. Like I was the mortgage plan. Like I was the man you kept for stability while another man got the electricity." I did not cry. I did not punch the steering wheel. I did not call her screaming. I just sat there with my phone in my hand until the screen dimmed. Kelly sent one more message. "I am sorry. I should have said something sooner." I typed, "Thank you for telling me." Then I went into the hardware store and bought moving boxes. That weekend, there was a casual house party at Maya's. I almost did not go, but part of me wanted to see if Alyssa would pull back after sensing I had gone quiet. She did not. She had 2 drinks and started performing again. Someone mentioned wedding planning because a friend had gotten engaged. Alyssa laughed and said, "Ask Corbin. He has been very sensitive lately." Travis stared at her from across the room. "Sensitive about what?" She leaned into the attention. "He acts tough, but he knows I am not going anywhere." A few people laughed, but softer this time. Travis said, "That is not as cute as you think it is." The room shifted. Alyssa blinked. "Excuse me." I said, "That is not cute." Maya quickly said, "Anyone want more chips?" Like a bag of tortilla chips could save the room. Alyssa looked at me, waiting for me to defend her or fight with Travis. I did neither. On the way home, she was furious. "Your friend embarrassed me." I watched the road. He repeated what he saw. "Oh, so now you are letting Travis speak for you?" "No." "Then say something." "I already did. Many times." She scoffed. "This silent martyr thing is exhausting." I almost laughed because that was the closest she had come to noticing the truth. I was not being silent because I was hurt and waiting for comfort. I was silent because every necessary conversation had already happened. A few days later, Nate became less subtle too. A friend of a friend posted a screenshot that made its way through the group, the way messy things do. It was Nate texting someone else. "I like that she still came when I called," he wrote. "I do not want to deal with her full time." Another message said, "I am not trying to be anybody's replacement fiancé." This got way too serious. I remember staring at that screenshot and feeling something strange. It was not satisfaction exactly. It was sadder than that. Alyssa thought she had two men orbiting her. One stable, one exciting, one to build with, one to run to. But Nate did not want the full version of her. He wanted the ego boost of knowing she still answered. And I no longer wanted to compete with someone who did not even want the prize. The final text came on a Friday. I was at home, already packed more than Alyssa realized. Most of my clothes were still in the closet, but the important things were gone. The drawers looked normal if you did not know what had been removed. The wedding binder was in a box at Travis's place. Not because I planned to keep it, but because I did not want it destroyed before I canceled what had my name attached. Alyssa had been restless all day. I could tell by the way she kept checking her phone and pretending not to. At 6:48 in the evening, she walked out of the bedroom wearing jeans, boots, and the black jacket she usually wore when she wanted to feel untouchable. "I am going out for a little while," she said. "With who?" She looked annoyed before I even finished the question. "Nate." I nodded. She waited for the argument. I said, "Okay." Her eyes narrowed. "Do not do that." "Do what?" "Act calm in that weird way." "I am calm. I am stopping by his place. He is dealing with some stuff." "Sure." She picked up her purse. "And when I get back, do not start drama." Then she left. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed. "Alyssa, I am stopping by Nate's for a little while. Do not start drama when I get home." I looked at the message for a long time. Then I replied, "Take your time." I called Travis. He answered with, "Is it happening?" "Yes. We are on the way." I had imagined that moment 12 times, and in every version, I felt either furious or terrified. In real life, I felt focused. Travis showed up with 2 friends and a rented moving van. We moved quickly, but not carelessly. I had a printed list. Boxes were labeled. I took photos of each room before touching anything. I took photos again after my things were out. I left shared items exactly where they were. I left her clothes hanging, her makeup in the bathroom, her books on the shelf, her favorite mug in the cabinet. I did not want her to come home to chaos. I wanted her to come home to consequence. The apartment looked strange as it emptied. My desk disappeared from the spare room, leaving a pale rectangle on the wall where it had blocked sunlight. My clothes came out of the closet, and suddenly her dresses hung alone with too much space between them. My side of the bathroom drawer went bare, except for one stray razor cap I tossed in the trash. In the living room, Travis paused by a framed photo of Alyssa and me from 2 summers earlier. "You taking this?" he asked. I looked at it. We were smiling at a backyard barbecue, her hand on my chest, my arm around her waist. I remembered that day. I remembered thinking I had chosen well. "No," I said. He set it face down on the television stand. I flipped the other couple photos face down too. Not dramatic. Not smashed. Just done. On the kitchen counter I left my key, the garage fob, and a short note written on the back of a page from the wedding binder. "You told me to accept it. I accepted that this relationship is over." That was all. No insult, no long letter, no list of evidence, no plea for her to understand. Before I walked out, I stood in the doorway and looked back at the place we had built together. The couch stayed. The dining table still wobbled. The kitchen still smelled faintly like the candle Alyssa always bought, even though she claimed it was too expensive every time. For a second, grief hit me so hard, I almost put my hand on the wall to steady myself. Then Travis said quietly, "You good?" "No," I said, "but I am leaving anyway." We were gone before Alyssa got back. Her first call came at 10:17 in the evening. I let it ring. Then another. Then another. Then the voicemail started. The first one was pure anger. "What the hell is this, Corbin? You do not get to just leave like this. Call me back." The second one was sharper. "You took your stuff while I was not home? Are you serious? That is so cowardly." The third had panic under the rage. "You made me look stupid. Do you understand that? You made me come home to an empty house like I am some kind of joke." By the fifth, she was crying. Please call me. We need to talk. You cannot just end an engagement with a note. I listened to each voicemail once and saved them. Then I turned my phone face down on Travis's kitchen table and tried to sleep on his couch. I did not sleep much. The next morning, Alyssa went to the group chat. Alyssa. Just so everyone knows, Corbin moved out while I was not home because he could not handle me having a friend. Alyssa. He left me a note like a coward. Alyssa. This is what insecurity looks like. A few people responded fast. Wait, what? Moved out? Are you okay? Maya wrote, maybe this should not be in the group chat. Then Alyssa doubled down. No, people should know. He has been punishing me for having a male friend. I sat with my phone in my hand, reading it from Travis's kitchen table while he made coffee behind me. He said, do not write a novel. I will not. I sent one message. Corbin, not a friend. Your ex, and not because you had one, because you told me to accept that you were still seeing him after making me the joke for weeks. I accepted the relationship was over. Then I attached 3 screenshots. The first was her text from the night before. I am stopping by Nate's for a little while. Do not start drama when I get home. The second was the screenshot Kelly had sent. Corbin is the safe one. He is steady. He will get over it because he hates drama. The third was her ultimatum from earlier that week, which I had saved. I am still seeing him. You can either accept it or keep acting like a jealous little boy. I did not add commentary. For nearly 10 minutes, nobody said anything. The little typing bubbles appeared and disappeared. Appeared and disappeared. Finally, Travis wrote, she dared him to accept it. He did. Maya wrote privately first. I am sorry, she said. I thought it was just awkward couple stuff. Then it got mean. I should have said something at dinner. I replied, thank you. Kelly messaged too. She is saying I betrayed her. I am sorry this is happening. I wrote, you did not cause it. Not everyone supported me. One friend said moving out while Alyssa was gone was cold. Another said I should have had one final sit-down conversation. Someone else said relationships are complicated and maybe I overreacted because nothing physical had been proven. Maybe that is what makes it sound like an am I the asshole situation. There was no dramatic hotel room discovery, no lipstick on a collar, no secret pregnancy, just weeks of disrespect, private humiliation, public jokes, and a fiancé who kept daring me to swallow one more thing. Travis, of course, had no patience for the debate. She already got the final conversation. He said while helping me unload boxes into a storage unit, she got 10 of them. She just did not like the answer when you stopped using words. Alyssa tried every angle after that. First, anger. You humiliated me, she texted. I replied, all communication about the lease and shared bills needs to stay in writing. Then blame. You let Travis poison you against me, I replied. Please confirm whether you want to keep the couch or discuss selling shared items. Then grief. I cannot believe you are throwing away years overnight. I stared at that message for a long time before answering. I did not throw away years overnight, she replied immediately. Then meet me and say that to my face. No. Wow. I am not doing another private conversation you can rewrite later. That one made her furious. She sent a long paragraph about maturity, closure, compassion, and how ending an engagement by text was cruel. I almost responded emotionally. I almost told her about every night I had sat on our couch feeling like an intruder in my own relationship. I almost asked why my pain only mattered once it inconvenienced her. Instead, I saved the message and forwarded the relevant lease information to Mr. Hamley. The practical side took a few weeks. Mr. Hamley scheduled a walkthrough. I returned the key officially. Alyssa stayed in the apartment and had to prove she could handle the lease or add a guarantor. I stayed responsible for my portion until the paperwork changed, which was annoying but manageable. I removed myself from utilities where I could and paid final balances where I had to. We divided shared furniture through email. I let her keep the couch because fighting over cushions felt beneath both the relationship and the breakup. The wedding cancellations hurt more than I expected. We had not set everything in stone, but we had deposits and vendor conversations. I emailed the venue contact and paused anything attached to my card. I canceled the photographer consultation. I took my name off the shared wedding email. Each message felt like pulling a thread from a sweater until there was nothing recognizable left. Meanwhile, Nate did exactly what people like Nate do when attention turns into responsibility. He backed away. Alyssa tried to lean on him after I left. That was what I heard from the group. Not because I asked, but because people talk. Nate stopped answering quickly. Then he told someone the situation was too messy. Then the screenshot of his message circulated wider than he expected. I like that she still came when I called, he had written. I do not want to deal with her full-time. When Alyssa found out people had seen that, she lost it. Not at Nate. From what I heard. At everyone else. At Kelly for not defending her. At Maya for being distant. At Travis for always hating her. At me for turning people against her. She still did not understand. I had not turned anyone against her. I had stopped protecting her from the pattern she created in front of them. About a month after I moved out, she asked to meet one more time. Her email subject line was closure. I almost deleted it without opening it, but I read it because part of me was still trained to care when Alyssa said she was hurting. She wrote that she missed me. She wrote that the apartment felt empty. She wrote that Nate had not meant anything. Not really. She said she had been confused and scared of getting married, and that reconnecting with him made her feel young again. She said she never physically cheated, as if that was the only line that mattered. She said she wanted to sit down like adults and see if there was anything left to save. I waited until the next morning to respond. No private meeting. If there are remaining lease or property issues, email them. If this is about the relationship, my answer is final. She replied within 5 minutes. It did not mean anything. That was the message that finally made me answer like myself again. Then you risked us for something meaningless. She did not respond for 3 days. When she did, her message was shorter. Did you ever love me? I sat with that one longer than I should have, because yes, I did. I loved the woman who danced barefoot in the kitchen while pancakes burned. I loved the woman who cried during old movies and pretended she had allergies. I loved the woman who helped me build a home from mismatched furniture and inside jokes, but I did not know how to keep loving someone who had turned my patience into a weapon against me. So I wrote the only thing left. I did not leave because you had a past. I left because you kept bringing him into our present and dared me to live with it. After that, I blocked her everywhere except email. The friend group never fully recovered. Some people stayed close to her. Some stayed close to me. Some disappeared because they hated conflict more than they cared about truth. Maya and I are friendly now, though not close. Kelly apologized once in person when we ran into each other at a birthday dinner months later. I should have been braver, she said. I told her, me too. She looked surprised, but I meant it. I should have been braver earlier. Not louder, not angrier. Braver. Brave enough to believe my own discomfort before it became evidence. Brave enough to stop explaining basic respect to someone who benefited from misunderstanding it. Brave enough to leave before the final insult. But I got there. The first Sunday in my new place, I woke up on a mattress on the floor, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes. My coffee maker was on the counter. My knives were in the wrong drawer. My clothes were still mostly in trash bags because I had run out of boxes and refused to buy more. I made pancakes. The kitchen was too quiet. Nobody stood in the doorway making fun of the first one. Nobody asked if I had seen her phone. Nobody stepped onto the patio to take a call from a man I was told not to worry about. I burned the first pancake anyway. I laughed when it happened. Not because I was fine, but because for the first time in months, the mistake was just a pancake. I did not check where Alyssa was. I did not wonder who she was texting. I did not rehearse an argument in my head while pretending to watch television. Leaving quietly was not weakness. It was the first time I stopped negotiating with disrespect. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our upcoming stories. Your support means the world to us.